So I'm Charlotte, I am a science teacher, and I have done my project on looking at using digital homework or paper homework and comparing them and seeing which one is better. So the rationale was when I started at my school in September 2015, we had this new, amazing online planner, this virtual learning environment that's supposed to bring teachers, students and parents together and help students learn more. Amazing mission statement. Staff were sceptical, and there was a lot of fear from staff, especially those who weren't particularly computer literate. We've also completely scrapped paper planners as well, and all homework has to be set on Firefly. What I am looking at particularly though is whether actually doing the homework on paper or actually doing the homework on a computer and submitting it online versus handing it in, that's what I'm comparing. So in all of the homeworks I'm talking about, they have been set on the planner feature, but whether they've been completed on paper or Firefly is what I'm looking at. Context, so we're quite a large school. We have a sixth form and we are a comprehensive secondary school. We have a reasonable number of free school meal students, about 25%. We've got quite a reasonable amount of EAL students, about 10%, and that's a really good, strong department in our school. And also quite a lot of SEN students, and we particularly specialise in complex needs as well. There were no students with complex needs in this study. There were a few with things like dyslexia, but they've not been chosen for that, so there's no ethical ones. Our progress 8 scores are really good. We are in the top 25% of schools nationally, so we're all pretty chuffed about that when that came out last year. Literature. I've split this up into 4 main topics. I'm not going to go through every single detail, but basically there is a debate about whether the young generation are these digital natives and have these innate IT skills. What impact does homework actually have? Why do we set it? What factors affect homework? And there are a few studies looking at specifically what I've looked at as well. So the digital natives debate. Here are a few quotes I found from literature. Young people of the digital native generation possess sophisticated knowledge and skills with information technologies. As a result of their upbringing and experiences with technology, digital natives have a particular learning preference or style that differs from the earlier generations. And I think all of us know from our experiences with students, maybe their usage is high, but their skills might not be there. As a personal critique of this, I think, as a digital native born after 1980, the people writing this class themselves as digital immigrants seems like they're looking very much from an outside perspective, and I would worry about how they are interpreting their data. And there is data to support my view, and absolutely I recognise this to be my own bias, that while very high usage in the millennial generation, skills maybe not so much. So here we've got 99% using words, surfing the internet, only 21% making their own content. And from just discussions with my students and kind of my awareness of what they're doing in computer rooms and things, I don't know many of my students that have a blog, for example, or create their own content to go onto the internet, but lots of them are Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, etc. So if they are these amazingly skilled computer literate people, do they want a computer literate education? Well, the research seems to suggest they do. A study with an American university, so undergraduates, a bit of an age difference, but still. Students preferred mid to high use of IT in those classes. Hardly anyone wanted a completely online lesson though, so they seem to want some human contact. A Finnish study looked at 12-year-olds, so the right age range for me. 46% were very cynical about their school experience and thought that ICT would really increase their engagement. Now, it's important to clarify that the author thought that Finnish schools have less IT use than the rest of Europe. That's something that she wanted to kind of improve in Finnish schools. The impact of homework. Obviously, we are looking for benefits on academic achievement and their learning. There are also non-academic benefits, learning skills, independence, and involving the family and the parents in what's going on at school. Hattie suggests that secondary school students would see a positive effect of around 0.64 for having homework versus not having homework. It's much less for primary school. I think it's only about 0.2, 0.3, something as like for all ages, and it's more effective at secondary schools. I really liked this idea of a multi-layered approach to homework though. This is Trotman, I think you say it, has come up with this multi-level approach where the characteristics of the homework, the characteristics of the student, the role of parents and home life plays, homework expectancy, does that student believe they can actually complete the homework? Homework value, what is the intrinsic worth of that homework? Is the student going to enjoy it? And are they going to benefit academically from doing the homework? Are they going to put effort in? And how much time are they going to spend on it? That all comes together, all interlinked to give you the achievement you're looking for. So it's a much less reductionist approach than just more time on homework, better achievement. To say that homework time has an impact, it does, but there's all these other factors going on. In my study, I wanted to really isolate this digital format. So homework assignment characteristics I've tried to really control. I've used the same publication to get my questions for the homework. Student characteristics I'm controlling by doing a repeated measures design. Unfortunately, the role of the parents was going to get too big if I was trying to investigate that. And it's this, the homework expectancy, value and effort that I think is what's going to be changed by changing that format. Here are the only two relatively modern studies that have kind of done what I'm doing. This one was done on physics undergraduates, so right subjects, but much older students. On the survey, paper came up way ahead, but there was no statistical difference in overall achievement. But the individual assignment, the individual tasks scored better on paper. Slightly more recently, this again is university students, 53% preferred online submission of coursework, 12% preferred paper. But this, I think, doesn't apply as much because we're talking about university students having to travel in to hand it in. So I think that's not as easy to relate to. My questions. Do students submit homework on time and to a better standard, online or on paper? Do they work harder? And what do they prefer? And also a why question to all of these. So the first phase, I set my two classes in year 10, two pieces of homework each over 2 weeks. One was on Firefly, one was on paper, and the order of that was different. So repeated measures design, so I can track that. I can remove the individual differences from my error. And like I said, I use the same publisher for my exams, for my questions. Percentage scores I thought were really interesting. My mixed set did better on the paper, whereas my top set triples did much better on Firefly. When you combine those results, they've done better on Firefly, and that is a significant difference. I did a repeated measures ANOVA, and it is significantly different with an effect size of 0.24. Now, The reason I've got a repeated measures effect size rather than Hattie's effect size is because he does not take into account the fact that I've got this repeated measures design. By dividing it by standard deviation, you're assuming individual differences. So you get this artificially inflated effect size from the results. So what I'm saying is there is a positive effect, but it's small. You wouldn't see it, but statistically it's there. Did they hand it in on time? Well, as you can see, my mixed set are awful at handing in homework, and my triple set are brilliant at handing in homework. They both did better at handing in homework on Firefly. The reason why I'm going to look through in my questionnaire. So phase 2 was to set a questionnaire to my students. Everyone was asked to complete it, and then I just removed those that I didn't have consent for. So what do they work harder on? They put the most effort in. Well, most of them say they don't, it's the same on either way, but paper comes out on top in terms of effort. Paper also comes out on top on concentration. They're pretty much the same on motivation though, with Firefly just 1 point ahead. And I thought that was quite interesting. So that may explain the results for why I got more Firefly ones in. And this may explain why there was less of a difference in how well they did. Which do they prefer? They were very passionate about saying they prefer paper. Why they prefer paper, I'm going to find out in the next phase of the research. But they find them equally very slightly more enjoyable on Firefly. Study environment, I feel like this is a strong area that might explain the results. On paper, 15 out of the 30 are working in a shared space for their homework, so there's a lot of chance for distractions. Whereas when we're looking at those on Firefly, most of them are using their own device. When we look at which device, most of them are using a laptop or a computer, which I found quite reassuring because I thought they might just be on their phone with like loads of things pinging up. My next phase, I'm going to choose 2 Firefly supporters and 2 paper supporters, and we're going to do an interview to really explain these results, what is going on behind these results. Headlines, small positive effect from putting homework on Firefly, more are handed in on Firefly, but the kids prefer paper and they put more effort into paper by self. Limitations is very small scale, possibly order effects, but I need to look at that a bit more. So the second homework task seems slightly better results. Larger sample sizes would be needed and more repeats to confirm this as a reliable pattern. And there are biases. These kids are familiar with Firefly, they may have preconceptions. I'm in charge of Firefly for the department, so I've got my own biases. And have I asked them the right questions? Recommendations for practice? Do both. Because some kids like one, some kids like another. It is easier for a teacher to mark, but then possibly you're not getting that rich feedback. So depending on the situation, they're both